coming back to the shared vision and accountability, I want us to know that for whatever issue you are struggling with, there is a root cause somewhere. Now, so many of us are fighting with the symptoms. The symptoms are what we are seeing. And we are seeing people that are not free to tell us what they own. We are seeing people that are spending without our knowledge. Yeah, we are seeing people that are keeping some monies away from us. We are seeing people that are buying things without letting. We are seeing all these things, but there are root causes that are deep rooted. Some of them in insecurity, some of them in fear. Some of us, we come from different places, traumatized, okay? We are carrying trauma and childhood wounds. And now we fall into the arms of people that do not have the information, the understanding, and the wisdom to help us in the healing process. I know for sure that where I come from, I was wounded, I was traumatized. Had it not that I fell into the hands of a man that knew how to love me, knew how to accept me, and knew how to give me the security that I needed in order to thrive and blossom, I would have been either a dead person, and I usually say it, I would have been on my 5th marriage by now. Because when you're wounded, you're going from one place to another, bleeding on people. Yeah? So if you don't find someone who will tell you that, you know what, Wummula, you've come here, you are fully accepted. That is what Mr. Sabiti did for me. Even when I would tell him that, you know what, Nkola Byangi, and I started this when
yeah, she was big-headed, really big-headed, yeah.
You know, Nkola Byangi, because I grew up in a home where my mother was doing her things. Yeah. And because she was a single mother, even when she was married. Just imagine, you are a single mother, even, let me tell you, one thing you should fear is not being single, but being in a marriage and you are lonely and you are single in a marriage. That is the worst form of pain that you can ever go through. Now, me, I knew that, you know what, I cannot rely on anyone because I did not see my mother depend on anyone.
That's true.
She used to do her own things, doing it with us. Wetaga school fees, ziganye, gendo utunde yakatekangi. You get it? Kati batugobye, tuino kweba kako ewana mwandu, ate musamize, ate yalino kola partnership no musamize, yalino okumua kumere, and then after that yalino kutua kati akataka yaina okutua akataka somewhere, as in everything, the progress that I saw in my home happening, to buying used windows, you know, amadinsa gebakona mayumba amalala, nebagaleta nga gemuzimbisa. Temuli wadde semiti, nze negombako ku nyumba ya semiti nenga mukama. Nenebakako mu nyumba ya semiti nga mukama netufuna ku sofa set. Omanyizi ne sofa set ezedda. Netufuna ku sofa set. Nga mulina akagundi kamwe akasuwa kamwe kali wali katudde ku malaya asiika, mwina malaya esiika endala wano gye muwa abagenyi. You get it? Nayenga bwasondayo ke emitwalo 8 nga agamba nti omanyi sideboard abaana bange bajja sanyuka. Yeno nga akikolera abaana bange bajja sanyuka kubanga balaba sideboard mu nyumba endala. Nga agamba, so when I came into this relationship, for me, I clearly came to do my things. And I was very vocal about it. Kola bibyo nange nkola ki? Nkola byange. Katutabuka mu katono bwe kati.
Nkola byange.
Nkola bibyo nange nkola ki? Nkola byange. And guess what? He would not even let me go out of his sight, minus correcting me. He would hold my hands, look me in the face, and tell me, tugenda kukola byaba.
Byaba biri.
Tewali byange, tewali bibyo, tugenda kukola byaba. Byaba biri. Kati daye ka webake.
And she would go with her mouth in the nose.
I would go definitely
but that was
with
okay.
my mouth in the nose. But do you know, and then not with just that, not just with words, he would get money and he would push it in my handbag without my knowledge. Because when nkola byange, as in sagala when wakutambula nja kutambula wo, you know, ngandi wakabi like that. So he would find a way of sneaking money into my pocket, and then I get home. Definitely, I'm the firstborn, kateri mere, and all of a sudden you land on this cannot of money. Back then money was too much, because that should have been like how many years, more than 20 years ago, and that was too much money. So now my family has food, and all of a sudden, definitely in the morning, even when nali nkola byange nga nkola bibye, He's the first person I look for every single morning of my life. For the past more than 20 years, every single morning I would look for him. I would ask him, where are you? Where are we headed? What is the program for that day? What is, and then all of a sudden, and then I would come back. Definitely he would take me, he would introduce me to the whole city, go to town, businesses, masimu, genda mukunasa, mukole, you know, make some difference of money and what. Every businesses that I've ever learned how to do, he has taught me and he has mentored me into it. But the patience with which he did it, to not look at me as a burden, because in partnership, you're not supposed to look at the other person as a burden. You're supposed to look at it as a chance for you to be able to provide the security and the foundation for them to be able to thrive if you see a future with them.
Yeah.
So the patience with which he would even, in accountability and shared vision, there is prayer, there is fasting, even up to now. When I mention and I'm like, you know what, Oktandika Wike Ja, I'm going to just consecrate myself in prayer and fasting, but I'm going to do 12 hours. Even if I tell him I'm going to be doing 24 hours, definitely, without me even thinking about it, he will tell me, I am joining you, even up to now. I don't fast alone. He does not fast alone. When he is fasting, I am jumping on board. When I am fasting, he's jumping on board. When we are praying together. And now that heals at the core. It heals you. There is acceptance. There is loyalty. There is respect. There is friendship that holds the fragments together. That even when love cannot, twababulira story yafe last time. Netwagamba guy. Twatuka wetutuka nga love yokate chamala. Ngati it cannot. Yes, we love each other, but his parents did not accept me for a daughter-in-law. And we had to separate for more than 5 years. He tried his own things, go his own way. I tried my own things, go my own way. I got to a place where I was 1 week to getting married somewhere else, and I was a runaway bride. I became a runaway bride. But even through all that, I will tell you, and what I told, I think it was Derek, when he asked that, what kept you going in those 5 years where you were not together? One thing that kept me going, for the past more than 20 years, just like the Bible says that his word is yes and amen, Tim's word has been yes and amen. He has never wavered. He has never promised something and did something otherwise. Like he has been one true thing. You know, one true thing that you can say, let everything vanish, let the whole world, I am dying with him. And even if it came right now, I would still repeat the sentence I told you when we were going to Kayunga. That even if everything we have right now was stripped away from us, nga tulina okusula mu kasisira, nina okwambala gomesi nengenda nennima ne tunywa chai ataliimu majani n'ataliimu sukali, nga tulina okutulako awo n'obulimiro bwaffe ne twenyumiza, I would still prefer that life than be with anyone else in the world. Because he has showed me what it means to be steadfast, unshakable. Even when he turned around and decided that, you know what, I am not marrying for my family, I am marrying for myself, and told the rest of his family, he was alone on his way, on our wedding. He was alone. He did not have a brother, not a cousin, not anyone.
Oh, I represented myself at my in-laws. Seriously, you know when you get into a house, so I remember I sat in that room. You know what happens when you go to Buko. Whenever today, firing squad everybody. And they all have guns on me. And I was like, bring it on. Naze mazeko. Blichibuzo chimwagala okubuuza njya chiddamu. And one of Hilda's fathers, aba wakubukojja, was asking,
fire questions.
Ziriye ziriko obumansuka. Yatuka watuka n'ambuuza ekibuuzo. Nempulira nga zivuddeko. I will never forget. I told him, Tata, betuva wano. olina omukyala akulinze ewaka yafumbye ate agenda kubugumya ekiro nze nzira mu blanketi nzekka ewange teri yaliko aliyo ndeka and that was enough in that room. Everyone kept quiet. Nemugamba ndeka.
Self-representation at the best.
And we became so close with him because after that he was like, you have 100% my endorsement on this marriage, and I know you're going to make one of the best marriages. I am very sure about it. Nemugamba webale.
Yeah. So when it comes to security, as a man, the security that you provide to your wife, yeah, I don't believe that we would have been where we were, even in the midst of that separation. He knew what I ate every day. He knew the kind of house I was staying in. Like, clearly he cared to ask me, are you okay? He would even know the sound of my voice when I didn't sound okay. So sometimes he would call me and I'm in Chireka and he's in town, and he would call me and he's like, how are you? And then I'll be like, I'm okay. And then definitely he goes off the phone. And in the next 30 minutes, I'm seeing his car, either at the hostel where I was reading books from or where I was renting. And he would be asking me, you didn't sound okay. And indeed, I was not okay. I told him I'm okay, kumwejako. But he knew the sound of my voice. Can you say that you know the sound of your wife's voice? Men can understand the sound of their girlfriends because then they are the love and the chemistry and whatever it is, you know. But do you understand the sound of your wife's voice? Can you tell that she is not fine when even if she tells you that she is fine? Can you, up to now, when I tell him that I am fine, he will find another angle to ask the same question, and he will find 5 other angles to until I get tired and I maybe tell him what exactly is happening. You get it? And I know that is a behavior that is coming from me, the wounded me. We do not heal all at once. We heal in phases. And I can say, oh, I am totally healed and I am fine. No, there are certain things that will happen and you'll feel like, you know what? Here, I better crawl back into my shell. But as you crawl back into your shell, he's saying, we either enter the shell together or you come out. So choose what you want. And so that kind of safety that promises you before you even give birth. You will forever be my Hilda. And indeed, I have kugejad and looked like a what? An elephant. You know, but there is no single day. I have to work until 9 months. Until tomorrow I am going. The last month, because every time I have given birth, I go to check other things and the doctor is like, the next thing is your husband will not be able to carry you. So, genda bakuwechitanda tomorrow mwana tumujam. But the thing is, it is not just in words, it is a demonstration of actions. And that is partnership. That I have your back. I am here. I am steadfast. You can mistrust anything else in the world, but you should never mistrust me. Even if there is something you don't understand, tell me. I will listen to you, and I will not listen to judge you. I will not listen to respond, but I will try and listen to understand where you are coming from, so that I can also be able to tell you where I am coming from. Do you see how healthy that is? Because then I can speak anything. He knows. Because I have thought about it halfway into it, and then all of a sudden I feel the need to bring him into the mix. And then all of a sudden he will look at me and is like, simanyi jova, simanyi jogenda. Kati mbulirako bili bye wasokeddeko bye walowoozezaako. And all of a sudden now, that is when I discover I was thinking about it, but I did not share it with him. And now I have to tell him the whole story. And after you move this journey, let me tell you, the reason as to why I am too vulnerable and too open and too content and not looking for anything else, yeah, It's because this has not grown 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It has been there in season and out of season. It has been there through bad and through the good. It has been there when we have quarreled and we have wanted to pluck out each other's eyes. And then after that, we agree. We look each other into the eyes and we're like, what exactly are we building? And, you know, and then all of a sudden we remind ourselves of what we are building. We remind ourselves of what this actually means to us. And so many times we are so grateful and we're like, you know, oh, they were singers, I didn't end up with you. And the same with him. Sometimes he will sit and think, and then he was like, if I didn't end up with you, I don't know where I would have been, because I don't think I would have been anywhere else. That is very useful. So, but one thing that has kept us like that, I just wanted to share, is being spirit-led. Being spirit-led. In Galatians, I was just reading about it here, and it says, let me just go to 16. So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. Guys, the best marriage advice anyone can ever give to you, if you walk by the desires of your flesh, that is where egocentrism is, that is where selfishness is, that is where unfaithfulness, that is where adultery, that is where they are here somewhere. For those of you that are good readers, yeah, because I just have to, it just popped up in my head. Okay, 19, it says the acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, debauchery, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensation, faction, and envy, drunkenness, orgies. Do you see that everything is laid down?
Yeah, it's down there.
Everything is actually laid down. Everything that could go wrong in a marriage or a partnership has been laid down here. That this is gratifying the flesh.
Yeah.
Because the flesh is selfish. Feed me, love me, give me. It does not believe in reciprocity. It does not believe that when I give, I have to receive. But when you walk by the Spirit, it must be somewhere. 22. It says, by the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Tell me that everything you need as a blueprint for partnership has not been stipulated here.
It has.
And it's just you to ask yourself, am I kind? When someone tells me of their dream, when someone tells me about the business that they want to do, why do I find it so uncomfortable to support? And I always find all the reasons to pull them down and tell them how it will not work, and tell them in their family there are no business minds, and tell them kakati obwongo yabujewa, and tell them, why do I find it? Why? Because in partnership there is no competition. If there is the competition and strife, that means you have not gotten to a place of partnership. Love and chemistry brought you to where you are, but love and chemistry is not going to take you to where you are going. It is not going to create that longevity in marriage. And we do not celebrate love for the sake of love. We celebrate longevity. We celebrate that there are things that have attacked you and you stood the test of time. We celebrate that you fought some battles and you have some scars, but you did not give up on the love that you believed in. And you kept fighting for it. But guess what? No one can fight alone.
True.
No one can fight alone. That is a lost battle. You either join forces and fight as a team and fight anything that comes against you. We keep reminding ourselves of this. Everything else that is coming, that is against whatever, whoever, whichever situation, a person, anything, it's us against them. It's us against anything else that will come. And let me tell you, we win before we fight.
Yeah.
Always.
It's a mindset, yeah.
Because it's a mindset. Because even when, there are serious battles that I have come, and you can see that, by the way, someone is up to something, and they have tried, and they have conjured all the energy, and the devil is backing them up. And guess what? We are here, the ones planning for that individual. We are the ones now planning that, you know what? We are laughing about it. While the person is thinking they are so wise and they are doing everything in their power to make sure that they sabotage, they don't know that from the side from which they think they are sabotaging is the side that trusts the other side. So we share our battle plan.
Yeah.
Yeah? We share our battle plan.
No one at we is obukuba.
I know. Netubufulumya. Nene chintu kyonna ekigezako okwataakinga. Kiba kyafulumya edda kubanga ku breakfast tuba tukisekerera, ku lunch tuba tukigeya, ku supper tuba tugamba omanyi that is futile fighting, and before you know it, amaanyi nga gamuggwa, nga the weapons go down, and there is one who made a statement and said they are unbreakable. Unbreakable.
Inseparable. Actually.
Inseparable.
That's what they say.
Yeah, actually, it was like they're inseparable. By the time someone says they're inseparable, that means they have tried to separate you.
Yeah.
And they tasted the wrath of being ignored.
Yeah.
And jointly ignored.
So that actually brings me to the other point in partnership. I believe in transparent communication, where there is where you don't miss your words, or where you do not communicate amiss, where you properly communicate and you're understood. Now, that's really important, because in most cases, the wife is saying something, but the husband is hearing something else. And while the husband is responding according to what they heard.
Yeah.
While the woman was saying something else. And that's something that I made sure that I work on with my wife. Understanding her and communicating right. So I understand, I value the seasons and the times. And I know when to communicate and what to communicate when. And that's very key. But in most cases, that's something that we don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
For example, I told her that, you know what we are getting into now? That was after I'd gone through my battles of representing myself. And then we have to get into this marriage where I don't even have a nephew on my wedding, not even a niece, no one. I was the alpha and the omega there. My mother has been asking me to do the wedding again, so you guys will attend the wedding. Because she said that wedding, there
was a son, Ben.
Oh, there was a son. Ben was there. So, one of the things, you know, there's this saying that at entry level, plan your exit. So we had this tough discussion. And that's why I'm saying it's very important to have some of these communications. I told her, one of the things that will never happen is me to remove my ring. So I either put it on and it stays, or we don't even try it. Now that was our exit, discussing the exit. And I had to be very clear that if a day comes and you feel otherwise, you can proceed without a divorce, because I will not give it to you. I will not sign any papers. And I was serious about it. And she was like, whoa, Nemugamba, yes. And I mean it. Now, communication, what communication does, it prepares your mind for the worst. What I was addressing was something bigger than just a quarrel, just a misunderstanding of finances. Because what are some of the things that cause us to get to a place of breaking point? Wanji? Finances?
Intimacy,
nebirala. Mugamba, just understand that none of the above, including the following. And this one I said when one of my best friends was there. He's called Keita, and I think some of you know him. Namugamba Keita, bw'osanga mukazi wange mu lifting aluwa mu kisi nga tongamba. Kubanga bw'ongamba ngenda kukuba oli oba ekikondi. Lwaki obadde omulingiza nga bamukiisinga? Ye lwaki ongamba? And he laughed. I was like, so he was like, ovuddewo okwogera ekyo ne mugamba anti there is no room in me to undo what I started. So whoever brings the bad news is my enemy. And I don't want you to be one of them. So when you see her being kissed, she's an adult. She knows why she's kissing the guy she's kissing. Don't tell me.
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone. Let her have the guts to come and tell me I kissed Aruna in the lift. Tutandikira awo. Mugaye kati emimwaji Aruna yejade gikulabikira obulungi okusinga ejjange. Oba ejjange oyagala ngitintinge ng'eja Aruna olyoka ogyagale. So and I chose to make that like a joke because I made up my mind, and that is communication.
Yeah.
That's how communication sinks. In the times when we are laughing, I'm making my point. And you'll be a fool not to understand. A triple fool, actually, not two. So let us start the divorce conversation. You understand? Because I made my communication clear. Number two, I said, for the longest time, I've eaten in restaurants, nakwa restaurant food. I want homemade food. Nebongo era kawunga, nonterako ebijanjalo nga si bisiike. Nja kulya eka. And I'm telling you, there is no day where I've missed homemade food. And she knows it. Never to die some ez'ekiro. Wakiri ndyako akatono ne ndyoka ndeba. But that was communication that, man, I've lived this life for the longest time. There's no restaurant and hotel in Kampala that I've not gone to and eaten. I am tired of that food. If you still want it, I'll take you to any restaurant or any hotel that you want and eat. But when you get back home, go to the kitchen and make some food for me.
Good agreement. I go back satisfied and I cook, yes.
And I know I'm going to find my food. Oh, what you the time when she has these classes and they go on up to like 9:30 or 10, I'm like, don't mind, young. And that's communication.
Yeah.
That
expectations are
that
clear.
I'm telling you who I am and what I value. And it's only fair that in this partnership, you also pay attention to what I need as a man. And I think that's not fair. And that does not take away the fact that you're a career woman, you're an alpha female, you're a power, well, she's a power woman. When you go to places, in most of these places we go to, you know when people walk in, oh Bahati, I'm like, I'll still take my coffee, but after that, you're my wife.
In your heart.
And that does not make me less a man. It doesn't. Actually, what makes me more of a man is being able to push her even higher. And the way to reciprocate what I do is by paying attention to what I need. How do I do that? I communicate clearly. And then number two, for us we agreed no silent treatment. We do not silent treat on each other. No. In our world, that's emotional abuse, low grade and stupid.
Gaslighting, manipulation.
Twali mu kasiriko okumala ekiseera kingi nga sinnamulaba. Akaseera kenina katono saagala kusirika. Saagala lusirika wakati wange ne mukyala wange. So silent treatment is a no-go for us. We do not. And that is communication that we made clear to each other. That if you have an issue with me, say it. And that's communication. That I have told you what I want. So respect me enough. Not kunkuba mugongo nga tugenze mbuliri. Not nuleli nobange yalwadde. Oba nolwa ku kamuvi kolaba nga tekaggwa. Nokalaba paka saa 8 ez'ekiro. Oninda neeba kennyini. Abamugenda mu kinaabiro ne mulwayo. Ne munaabira essaawa namba nga mulindaga yasumagire eba.
Nga bafuuyirira kagalo.
Nkyekola ntula ne nninda nti. Ne kasimayiro kwekali. Kale jangu, come and ignore me. Hey. Yes. nga ne kasmayo kwekali agamba I've been patient, I've been waiting. It's a fruit of the spirit. So I've been waiting. Hey, wendi ndiredde ate kati mbijjewa mbifunewa. This is a one-way traffic. I communicated directly and I did not miss. So kati kipyaki bwe tuba twayombye tusatolinge bye tugira oba tusooke tugira ebiri tumale tugira kujja kutereera byokka. So the communication in a partnership is key. When you are annoyed, burst out. If you must cry, cry. But again, you understand? Yes. If you must do it, omwami, don't be robust, a machine, because of it. Mweko haga akabire wano. Omugambe ntegera kyoyitiramu mami. Ntegera kyoyitiramu dia. Ntegera kyoyitiramu hane. Anti kati bwe tunaabiraba kati ate tukalubya. Because
because what kills communication is resentment. Yeah? What kills the transparency in communication is resentment. And there is resentment of whenever I speak about my things, I meet either judgment or a closed ear or nothing will ever be done. You get it? So now you're like, okay, so now I start to tell him and then what? We end up in the same circles because I will expect he's going to say something and then he's not going to respond to me and then I will feel worse. Now the cycle has been triggered. So that is where someone is like, you know what? Okwogera noyo wachiri ngenda nenjogera n'amalaalo. Yeah, there are those who will say those things. Okwogera noyo wachiri njogera nzeka. Why? Because they have met resistance and they have not met an open ear, and so they cannot be. So can we be able to deal away with the precipitating issues underneath? Can we call them for their real names and say that, you know what, the thing that has caused me, and I hope that you as couples can go back, and I'm tempted to give you my workbook for partnership. I think I will have to share it because there are reflections and then there are precipitating things that are there that are boiling underneath. For example, when we talk about, let me just talk about the communication. Okay, very briefly, conflict resolution, okay, because this is part of conflict resolution. Let's talk about conflict resolution, okay, because this becomes the Cold War, the silent treatments that people go in and the toxic cycles actually start. Now, I wrote this in the workbook that I will be able maybe to avail to Eric, so that Pastor Eric, so that he can see what he does. The root issues at this level is poor communication, like he has said. You do not speak clearly. When you say, I want food, no one is an angel to detect what kind of food that you want. Can you say clearly, like my husband says, njagala lumonde, nemputa. And clearly you know that is what he actually wants. And he will even to the point of knowing that I don't want it in stew form, I want it fried. Yes. And I don't, like, I want something that is particular. And I will ask him, even when I'm making him an egg, I will come. Do you want a Spanish omelette? Do you want a fried egg? Or do you want a poached egg? Or you want a scrambled egg? I will every time. I do not prepare something without asking him. Because the mood changes. And he will tell me that, today I want scrambled, but I want it with bread, or I want it with meat, or I want it with something. And so I want to give, even if it's coffee, I do not serve him coffee just because he asks for coffee. And all of a sudden I just bring a cup. I'm like, do you want it with sugar or do you want it without sugar? Do you want it strong or do you want... Now, do you see that clarity? Like, it just takes away all the
and then I'll tell you, and this is real. When she does the egg, the way, okay, like, not the way I want it, I give her the feedback.
Yeah,
I do.
And sometimes we will even give it to the children.
And we agreed on that. We agreed on that. Yes. We agreed on that. That I'll tell her. I felt like there was too much salt.
Yeah.
It
helps me do better.
No, it's because you've not communicated clearly.
Yeah.
And what is partnership? What is partnership? If we can do these things at our workplaces, because at our
Even
workplaces,
at a restaurant.
if at our workplaces, we have what we call evaluation meetings.
Yeah.
Netutula ntugamba nti omanyi, yes, when you did this, twakikoze bulungi, kino kyayise. If you can be able to give each other feedback at our workplaces, why not at home?
But let's talk about the tone. Because now, the tone sometimes is what plays people. Yeah? Because there is no friendship. When you're giving feedback with friendship, you will clearly, for example, when I send him things and he tells me, Hilda, with your lists, just put it on WhatsApp. Because I will forget one thing. And so clearly you will be annoyed about that one thing. And I will put it on WhatsApp. But the tone with which, even if he comes and tells me, for example, yesterday I told him, buy some yogurt for children when he was getting into the supermarket. And all of a sudden, so today I was like, I didn't see the yogurt. I
bought all the different things apart from yogurt.
It's like, I forgot
So,
about
but then
the
I
yogurt.
told her that, please,
Give me the list.
give me the list. If you don't, I'll forget.
Yeah. So the friendship causes you to, and I think you've done it with your friends. When you're giving feedback to your friends, you get it. Eh? And then if I still have more eggs, I'm like, you know what, why should you eat an egg that has more salt? Let me give it to Ariel because he can eat it, but let me quickly make you another egg. And that is not because there is an order and there is a command, but I want to serve him. And I want to serve him to the best of my knowledge. If he is my husband, my king, no one else is going to be my husband. And no one is going to be his wife. So even if it's in bed, I will ask him, how do you want it?
Wow.
Yeah? Not those things of doing the same things every day. But because there is friendship, but because there is friendship, like you do it in a joking, in an easy way, that you will even have these pillow fights.
Otherwise,
you will lock yourselves
otherwise
in
marriage
the
is boring,
bathrooms.
guys.
I know. Why should it be boring?
It can be all about routine.
Yeah.
Monday to Monday.
Because
what routine you know what routine does? It kills the mood.
Yeah.
It kills the mood. So it's about the chores, it's about the responsibilities, it's about everything else other than us. Other than us. The reason as to why men cheat, one of the reasons as to why men cheat, is because everything else that they want, they're finding it outside.
At home, there is only seriousness.
At home, it's like... At home, it's like, we agreed routine. This is the road we are taking, and it's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Yeah, that place is only for God. It's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And it's never boring. But you want to be the same? Yesterday, today, and forever, you'll be boring, even in your marriage. So there's intentionality in everything. And there's growth as well. That's why I said growth and accountability. There is shared growth. That when you look back, there are certain things that you look at and you're like, whoa. I sometimes go to my gallery and I pull out some pictures. And when I pull out these pictures, while I'm with her, I'm like, man, kagalo kano kali kakabi. Naga soko letendabe, nakatulia naga naye nkoze ntyo okutuuka ku kafiga ako. Ne mga njja kuyamba ndi wano. Mbuulira. And those conversations should happen in your life.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, gentlemen, no one has time for you out there. It's all about kutomera, being suing, owaboda kukona, nakugamba nvira, tomanyiro olinga emmese. Everything else is so selfish. The only difference I should have is in my home. When I get back to my wife, it should be different. And that's the place where I should rest.
Yeah, and have fun.
Rest and sleep like a baby. Not to get back home. Bemba nywa kachai, tebanga balina ke bansuuliddemu. Kachai kano kawunyako. Gatonna kanywa.
Yeah, and one of the
and some marriages, by the way, some marriages have gotten to that.
Yeah.
I have a friend who told me I cannot eat anything until nganda ngabana baliya. Nzoka kwetegereza nindaba nga buli mwana aliya. Bwe ndaba nga balinge babirese nga babibise nnyo ngamba nzikuse. Special meals zigirya. You don't want your marriage to get to that. But some marriages are already there.
Yeah.
So communication
And
is
it's
really
not
key.
cast in stone. Yeah, communication, remember we said poor too, communication tools, and then emotional immaturity, pride, the things that hinder conflict resolution and you being able to get closure on certain things, and then fear of being vulnerable. You're like, what if I just put down my guard and all of a sudden I am left out for the rest of my life? I think marriage should be a safe place. And one of the checks that you should be able to check within yourselves and the reflection is, do you even enjoy being in your home, or you enjoy being outside your home more than anything? We enjoy being home. For us, coming out of our home is actually an inconvenience. And when we are home, we enjoy being by ourselves without even the children. All the time we're like, Mufurube, go, get out. It's always get out and play. But when you ask us, like, what do you be doing? We are seated on our chairs, on our recliners. We are either passively watching a movie, mungalo wetupozinga, wetunyumiako kumbozi, and the day will go. And we don't want to go anywhere. And we are like, you know what? We just want to be here, half naked, sit and mind our business. And everything else, nabakozibe wafolusi batukubira bukubi mzima simu kwangu lujituwa twalugadi. Nga tutuli munju. Nagamba nti kakati mami ate asimanyi dogs food ate what? And I'm like naga imoka sigalina kankuweleze mobile money. Netwewereza mobile money nenga tuli mu maka gaffe. Yeah? And I remember Diana asking us, "Ne mubanga muongira bichi?" Kubanga mumusula mwena. Mukola mwena. Like clearly the whole day, 24/7.
But it's also a problem. I bought my wife a car. Fifi is a witness. Tajivugangako. No nyajibula. Waba ina sente mupesa. Because we end up in the same car every day. On a serious note.
Together.
So the other day I was saying obanji tunde kuba ndasende zange zinuma. 15%.
Yeah.
I think we should be handing over to Eric because of time. I don't know.
Yes, we should. But I just very quickly, when it comes to spiritual leadership, I think you talked about it. When it comes to unbalanced support and dreams and goals, one person pursues purpose and career, and the other person feels abandoned, unsupported, and sidelined. And the issues here are insecurity, jealousy, failure to communicate, the changing statuses, and what is actually happening. So the support must be there. Support them, okay? The physical intimacy. One partner feels like sex is a duty, and the other one feels rejected and unimportant. And it causes issues, and it's just not going to help at all. And then I think the last one is the differing money mindsets, okay? I just want to look at the precipitating issues and the root causes, which is control, fear of lack, past financial traumas, and pride. For example, hidden purchases and financial secrets. One earns more and uses it as power. And, so all those things, you realize that what they kill is the partnership. And yet, if you decide and say, if I am naked with you and you are naked with me, why should I hide other things? Like, seriously, the most important thing is your body, right? Is it your money? No. So if your body, you can trust me with your body, then why can't you trust me with your money? Right? And then why can't we trust each other to be responsible citizens? Why can't we rectify our mistakes? The last thing that I will say, because we're supposed to, we cannot say this because there are so many things, and I will keep sharing some of these things with Pastor Eric so that you can be able to read for yourselves and go through these reflections. Guys, whatever is killing your partnership, you know it. You actually know it. But you either fear addressing it, or you feel the other party is not willing to address it, or one party is unwilling to rectify their part of the responsibility. But this is what you're going to end up having, a separated home or a lost marriage. And I don't think that is what you want. Because when you sleep on your bed, once your partner says this is it and this is the end, will you ever laugh and say, I am so glad I did not rectify that thing? Or you will blame yourself for the rest of your life that your children are not growing without a father, or your children are not growing without a mother, because you had so much pride.
To put things right.
There is nothing that cannot be figured out. Everything is figure-outable if you decide that you are willing to work on this marriage, on this relationship, and on this partnership. So the ball is in your courts.
Yeah, I guess now we can hand over to Eric. Thank you so much for listening. By the way, we are writing a book specifically about some of the things that we
Yeah,
Yes.
the book is halfway. That is why we have the workbooks and what, because
Yes.
this was supposed to be a workshop. And I'm so glad that when you made the invitation, I was like, okay, this is actually God speaking, because this was supposed to be a full-fledged retreat for marrieds. Yeah.